It's officially the end of an era for the Toronto Raptors and the start of a new one. Yes, what has been ongoing for so many weeks, months, even years. The Pascal Siakam trade has finally happened that we've all been anticipating. Pascal Siakam has officially been traded to the Indiana Pacers. And after sitting with this trade for a few hours now, I am going to give you my thoughts and my take to this trade that just went down. Please do me a solid, everybody. Hit a like on the video. It helps it a ton. And also, please subscribe to the channel for more Raptors content just like this. So, let's first start with the full details of this trade. Per ESPN, the Pacers receive Siakam, a 2024 second-round pick via the Pelicans, who got involved in this deal. And the Raptors receive Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Kira Lewis Jr., 2024 first-round pick via the Pacers, a 2024 first-round pick, lesser of the picks from the Jazz, Clippers, Rockets, Thunder, and a 2026 first-round pick via the Pacers, which is top 4 protected. So that is 3 first-round picks for the Raptors in this deal. And the Pelicans receive cash considerations. So it's been reported by Woj that Siakam is excited about the deal to the Pacers and expected to be eager to work out a new contract with the Pacers this summer. My thoughts in terms of Siakam going to the Pacers, I think he's absolutely going to thrive with Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers. I mean, my take on Siakam, which has got me a lot of flack over the years, is for as good of a player as he is, he was never good enough to be that number one guy. The Raptors tried using him as Batman for all these years post Kawhi Leonard when he's a solid Robin. So now he gets to be that Robin with a true number one in Halliburton. So the Pacers offense gets even more deadlier with Siakam. And I mean, they're going to hope they can just score more than their opponent with the type of offense they're going to be rolling there. So look, I know I've wanted Siakam gone for a while now, and it finally has happened, but I still respect him for what he contributed to this Raptors team. And the dude actually wanted to be here. It's very rare when a star player wants to stay with an organization, especially with the Raptors organization. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and it just didn't make sense for the Raptors to re-sign Siakam to the max when the team wasn't contending with him. So this divorce had to happen. I wish Siakam all the best in Indiana. So let's look at what the Raptors get in the deal. They get Bruce Brown. He's going to be a quality rotation piece if he does stay, but in all likelihood, I think he's going to get rerouted and traded somewhere else. And then the Raptors get Jordan Nwora. Barely played in Indiana, but he'll get an opportunity here as a bench piece. And then you look at Lewis. He's very young. He's 22 years old, and he'll be a deep backup point guard for now behind Quickly and Schroeder. So per Michael Grange after the trade, the Raptors now have their own pick, which if they keep would be in all likelihood number 6. Then the Pacers pick, which is projected to be 20th. The OKC from Pacers pick, which is projected to be 27th. And the 31st pick from the Knicks. The 2026 first round pick via the Pacers is top 4 protected, but this could very well be the interesting pick for the Raptors down the line. So my reaction to this, guys, I knew the Raptors weren't going to get Benedict Mathurin or Jarris Walker. So that didn't surprise me one bit that these guys weren't included in this trade. And when Shams came out and laid out the framework of the deal the other day, I predicted that the salary filler would be Toppin or Smith along with Nwora. They ended up just getting Nwora. So while it is a bit disappointing that the Raptors didn't get a young player with potential star upside in this trade like they did in the OG Anunoby trade, the Raptors got the next best thing in this situation with the 3 first-round picks. And this deal will ultimately come down to if one of those picks, and hopefully for the Raptors' sake, more than one of these picks end up panning out. The Raptors simply waited too long to trade Pascal Siakam, which really hurt their leverage in this situation. So they basically had no choice here but to make something work. I was calling for this full rebuild to happen at last season's trade deadline and wanted the Raptors to clean house then, and people were saying I was crazy at the time. The Raptors were buyers when they should have been sellers. So this should have happened a year ago. And it's funny because the Raptors gave up their 2024 first round pick, top 6 protected, at last season's trade deadline because they thought it wasn't a good enough draft. And now they have up to 4 picks. if they end up keeping their first round pick in this 2024 NBA draft. So this is a very huge pivot, and the Raptors front office basically saying, yeah, our bad. But at the same time, people complaining about the trade, saying it's horrible, they need to see the big picture here. The Raptors hit their ceiling with Pascal Siakam, so it wasn't a good idea at all to bring him back. And at least they were able to get something for him in return instead of nothing, because losing Siakam for nothing this summer, like they lost Fred VanVleet for nothing last summer, would have been absolutely disastrous. And they finally picked a direction. The Raptors are no longer in limbo. They're no longer delusional. They've chosen a rebuild around Scottie Barnes, which was the obvious move. So the Raptors made the most out of the situation that they pinned themselves in. So overall, Masai Ujiri's haul for OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam is Quickley, Barrett, Brown, Noara, Lewis, 3 first-round picks, and a second-round pick. And there's probably going to be even more picks after they flip Brown. And then the Raptors will probably look to move on from Jakob Poeltl, who said he doesn't want to be in a rebuilding situation, Boucher, and Trent Jr., who is also an unrestricted free agent this summer. So you look at it, guys, the Raptors, they have a young core now of RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, and Scottie Barnes, future picks, and some cap space too at their disposal. As per Keith Smith, he says, I've got the Raptors able to create about $31.5 million in 2024 cap space after this trade, as far as the details we know right now, and that's with keeping Emmanuel Quickley on the books with this cap hold to keep him as a restricted free agent. So, to me, the Raptors are actually in a much better situation today than they were before. I mean, the writing has been on the wall for this rebuild, guys. Management gave this current group a couple of months to see how things were going to go. It didn't work as this Raptors team was struggling. So instead of losing OG and Siakam for nothing, they got some assets back. So I look at it like this. The Raptors aced the Anunoby trade. The Siakam trade, yeah, I can understand, is a bit disappointing because they weren't able to get back a young player with star upside, but at least they got those first round picks given the circumstances. I know they're late first rounders in what's deemed to be a bad draft, but there's always gems, hidden gems in these drafts. So the Raptors, they just can't fumble these picks. They got to be on their A game. And this 2024 NBA draft, all of a sudden, is going to be huge for this Raptors team in future. Also, it would be in the Raptors' best interest now to bottom out and keep their own 2024 first round pick, which is top 6 protected. So ultimately, front office, they messed up the situation. You know, they waited too long to get something done for Siakam. But like I said, given the circumstances, given what was in front of them, you weren't going to bring back Siakam. You weren't going to lose him for nothing. You had to get something back. So the 3 first round picks, that is what is the big component of this trade, and something we'll look back on to see if at least one of those picks ended up panning out. So yeah, that is going to just, usher in a new era for the Raptors. This is a new era Raptors basketball, guys. There's going to be a lot of losing and growing pains, of course, with any rebuilding team. And it's going to be about trusting the process. And again, I know the return might not be to a lot of people's liking, but management finally picking a direction. Look, the Raptors, they're going to see their former players very soon. This is a crazy stretch coming up for the team, guys, because on January 20th, this Saturday, the Raptors are going to be taking on OG Anunoby and the Knicks. Then February 9th, the Raptors are hosting Fred VanVleet and the Rockets. And then February 14th, just a couple days later, the Raptors will host Siakam and the Pacers. So there's going to be a lot of emotions during that time for sure. So those are my thoughts, guys. Let me know what your reaction is, what your thoughts are to this deal. And yeah, we will see how the new era Raptors look from here on out. But this has been a long time coming, and it's officially a fresh start for this Raptors franchise. Let me know your thoughts. Hit a like on the video, guys, and subscribe to the channel for more. That is it for me. It's Lucas signing off. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you all again in the next one.